Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 2nd of 2023, and given that we are getting closer to projects by Disney, like Ahsoka and everything happening with the Marvels and Skeleton Crew, etc., but nothing tops Snow White 2024, as they are going through a lot of damage control right now behind closed doors between Iger, the board, and everything happening with the cast, such as Rachel Zegler and GADOT, and exactly what's happening with them. Now, we know that the 7 actors that portray the 7 dwarfs in this actual movie, or as Disney likes to call them, the 7 magical creatures, they are having a lot of issues with Disney. We talked about this in the last video, but everything going on right now with Gal has a lot to do with what's going on with this movie being, of course, trash. There's no other way to really put it. Now, we know that Bob Iger did actually come forward yesterday stating how this movie is going to be the most diverse movie of all the Disney animated remakes in live-action adaptation form. And so that just goes to show you that they're not thinking about story, they're not thinking about character development or proper dialogue, but it's all about this forced agenda that's being thrown into this film once more that's going to, I believe, mark it as the worst box office scenario of 2024. That's my overall, approach or vision here for what's going to happen with Snow White next year. Now that brings us to Gal and what she had to deliver revolving around the Snow White remake by Disney and why it's really going to be a disaster. Now, with Snow White 2024 facing many issues due to Iger and the board's poor decisions with this movie, one major development has to do with Gal Gadot and her take on the film. Now, when she recently questioned about the film, of course, and was actually questioned about this, she went on to deliver the following. I think what people are about to see with this film is how we put a modern spin on this iteration and absolutely fits the modern female today. We didn't really need a Snow White that needed true love or a Prince Charming. This film is about sending a message to younger audiences to stand on your own and become a leader. So that's what really differs the film from the original animated movie from 1937. We really needed to explore that, and I'm all for it. I'm a feminist myself, and I think that is going to be a great fit for the character and how younger women can relate to her. We initially were going to do the copy and paste format from the original animated movie, but Mark Webb, the director, really wanted to explore something fresh right from the papers, and everyone over at Disney really wanted to expand Snow White's story to something truly different. Now, let me just say one thing about Gal, guys, alright? Now, look, we talked about this a couple of days ago. She did walk away from the Evil Queen prequel movie behind closed doors, so that's one thing. But we have to come to the realization that she is a part of this group that's just so out of touch with reality as well. I mean, this is somebody that agrees with Disney's approach for Snow White regardless. The only reason that Gal walked away from that Evil Queen prequel movie had a lot to do with the fact that it really was going way too out of touch with the character and way too, of course, out of touch with Gal's demands for what she wanted to do with that film. Now, we do know that she has gone on record saying that she's a feminist and that if you're not a feminist, then you're a chauvinist. She has said that before. Look it up. And she has said this on camera, just about, a month or two ago? Something around there. But looking to the next big thing here, we know that she fully agrees with the whole approach of how Snow White doesn't need no man, doesn't need no Prince Charming or true love. Gal is all for it, and she's openly admitting to that. So the problem here is that she also makes it openly clear that this movie is quote-unquote fit for the modern female, alright? And I think that's just honestly a little ludicrous, to be honest, guys, but this is also setting this film up for failure, and it just goes to show you that Disney is either telling Gal to say this, or Gal is just openly saying this on her own terms. It's either or. I believe it's the latter. That's just my own, intuitive way of thinking. I believe it's the latter, but I would like to hear your opinion on that. So, to the next, she goes on to elaborate, but Mark really wanted to explore something brand new. This is truly a very diverse film that I think will promote the use of diversity very well. It was very important for them to explore that in this iteration. I think Rachel did a phenomenal job playing Snow White, and she tunes out the loud, angry group of people quite well that have problems with this direction of this movie. We have a new queen, a new iteration of the Seven Dwarfs, and even better, a new take on Snow White's journey that will surely make this film stand out in the open, that I firmly believe will make a great symbol for women. This film is a very leader-focused movie and holds the concept of father and daughter lessons that I think will resonate well with the moviegoers for next year. We just cannot wait to show this to the world and how different it is from the other iterations of Snow White. This film is something that needed to be done a long time ago, and it's quite monumental to see it become a reality on the big screen. So again, I mean, look, I would like to hear your take on Gal as an actress and as a person below in the comments. You know, where do you think she really is? I really do feel that she is a part of this whole group that's out of touch with reality. There's no question about it. And yeah, some people may applaud her for what we talked about yesterday of walking away from that Evil Queen prequel movie that really dismantled Disney's Snow White plan to turn it into a major franchise, or into a cinematic universe, if you will. Kind of like what they're trying to do with The Lion King right now, of making that Lion King universe. But moving onwards here, the reason why this Snow White movie is going to be a disaster of epic proportions is not just because of what's happening with the Seven Dwarfs. It's not just because of what's happening with Rachel Zegler cast as Snow White. It just has to do with the fact that they are not focusing on story, character development, or just plain common sense. This is all about agendas being promoted, you know, focusing on the check marks and moving onwards. That's what this is all about. And I've always said this, it's going to be quite ironic to see that Disney all started with Snow White. It could very well all end with Snow White, at least for the Disney live-action remakes. We already know that Lilo and Stitch is getting adapted, The Hunchback of Notre Dame as well, and let's not forget about The Sword and the Stone is also in active development. So I can only imagine what's going to go wrong with those films. I mean, to be honest, we also have a Moana movie that's in the works. There's a lot of things happening right now. So they're not stopping with these live-action remakes as of this moment, but I do believe that if Snow White is so bad, it could very well derail those plans for all of these major live-action remakes that are not going to really do well at the box office. I mean, we all saw what happened with, you know, past movies, even in the animated sense, like Elemental. A lot of people just did not agree with that film at all. So overall, Bob Iger and the Disney board, they all need to go. I mean, it's pretty much plain and simple. They all need to be, reworked and pretty much replaced. The shareholders need to take action. And as you all know, the top shareholders at the end of the day are the real root of the problem. So guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.